We just walked through the Women in Flight gallery. A lot of these planes were either famous, like that's the type of plane Amelia Earhart tried to circumnavigate the world. Lockheed Model 10. A lot of them were donated by famous women pilots, things like that.
Yeah.
There's the museum exit. So as you're leaving the museum, you get a taste of the Blackbird. Fastest air-breathing plane ever built, probably that ever will be built, because there's no need really to build a plane this fast anymore.
Yeah.
We use satellites now, but
Right.
this was aerial reconnaissance. Great plane. It's made of titanium alloy. When we were building these, the United States didn't have enough titanium to build them, so we covertly purchased it from the Soviet Union and then built the SR-71 and then went and spied on the Soviet Union with their own titanium.
Their own titanium. I was always wondering what that, I thought it was a separate engine, but that's not the case.
It's a drone, so what they would do, this isn't the model that it worked on, but there was a version of the Blackbird family that had a pylon on top, and then they would put the drone on top of the Blackbird and launch it off of that.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't a super successful mission, so it's not highly known. I think there's only one, I think it's the M21 is the designation. I think there's only one of those on display in the world, but we were lucky enough to get the drone to put on display. This is, again, another example of the oldest surviving Blackbird. It's also the only YF-23C because it was an SR-71, so it was designed for air reconnaissance used by the CIA. It was still highly classified. So this one had to be used by NASA for some testing, so they redesignated it to make it not seem like a covert aircraft. Named it a fighter, which it wasn't.
Right.
And NASA tested this one for a while before returning it to the Air Force. The heat friction, when you would fly this plane would go so fast that the points of contact on the outside got up to 1,000 degrees. So I mean, that's why they use titanium versus some of the more traditional materials.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it was this large. I didn't think
Big
it was that big of a plane.
Yeah, and other than it just being a unique aircraft in general, people really love to be able to walk underneath it.
Yeah.
You can touch it at certain points, see what the cockpit would look like. We've got all kinds of stuff on display, like the engine start.
Sound effects and all that,
the parachute that it used to land. You get to see the engine on the outside.